So welcome to our Day 2 free voice training, sponsored by Grecidian Media Institute. And today's topic is Master Your Vocal Control. My name is Amake Okwe, the session president, and I'll be your anchor tonight. Today's class is going to be more of practical by the music legend himself, Mr. Andrew Egbuchiem. But before I can call him on stage, I need to give you a brief biography of Mr. Egbuchiem. Mr. Andrew Egbuchiem made his debut as a countertenor in the performance of Handel's Judas Maccabees and was under the tutelage of Mr. Oladele Nelson Cole in Lagos, Nigeria. Mr. Egbuchiem participated at the International Opera Singing competition in Karlovo, Bulgaria, September 2012, and was privileged to 2 master classes with Yossi Gadikov on Baroque music and Prof. Dragmo Nenov on drama and interpretation in Bulgaria, which in his opinion set his singing in the right part. Mr. Andrew also received a diploma of participation at the UTP of Rose Karlovo International Opera Singing Competition in 2012. Performing at the finale at the same competition, Mr. Andrew was invited to a performance for the German community in Plovdiv, Bulgaria. Mr. Andrew Egbuchiem came into limelight as an artist in residence for the Singers of United Land project between December 2013 and June 2014, touring through the east half of the United States, Kenya, Switzerland, Czech Republic, Poland, and Latvia. Mr. Egbuchiem sang the role of sorceress in Purcell, Dido, and Ennis in the Summer Vocal Arts Program in 2016 in Brooklyn, NY, under the tutelage of Lina Tetriani. As Oremino in Cavallis Erismena at the Amherst Baroque Music. So you're welcome. Good to have you. It's a privilege, sir.
First of all, thank you for pronouncing my name properly. My last name. That's it's a long time I ever hear anybody pronounce my last name properly.
Wow, wow. You're welcome, sir.
Okay, so I would just try to drive in. My method is different. I'm coming in as a performer, not exactly as a teacher. So I'm using experience as a performer to try to make this easy. And I usually like, to come from a practical aspect rather than just talking and talking and talking, because I realize that that's the disconnect that sometimes we performers have. People just talk, talk, talk. But if, like an example is set in a practical format, then it makes sense, to people who are actually trying to find, solutions or a pathway to, where they're going to get to vocally. So I would basically dive into the topic today, and it says mastering vocal control. I have a few side notes, so I would look at the side notes, but it's not much about the talking, it's more about the practical. It's a very powerful tool of communication. And the moment each of us as singers or whatever we want to call ourselves understand it, then it makes it much easier, because understanding where the voice comes from creates that impact about how we're able to use it. So that being said, the act of mastering your vocal control requires you to discover and explore your voice. So without you discovering your voice or exploring it, you cannot be able to master your vocal control. It's not possible. So that you have to be able to find your voice and then exploit how to use it. So in the process of finding it and learning how to use it properly, you master the technique. But one thing I have to warn people about, there's no shortcut. Your voice, learning about your voice takes a whole lifetime. You actually would never stop because there's always something about your voice to learn. If you are very genuinely interested in improving your own voice, not copying somebody else's voice. So everybody's voice is unique, but we all have to find, our own unique spot. So everybody's is different. And what do I mean by this? Good vocal control can be achieved by having a good breath, breathing right, good posture, and requires the total knowledge about your voice as a whole package. So I will go through these three things in order before we start doing anything practical. So I say it again, a good vocal control can be achieved by having good breath, which is breathing right, good posture, and good knowledge of your voice. So by breathing right, we know that breathing is the very foundation of any singing at all. If you cannot breathe properly, unfortunately, you cannot sing properly. So to be able to sing properly, you have to have a good breathing control or good breath control. You have to learn how to breathe, and also you have to know how to manage your breath, because it's not just enough to breathe right, but you have to know how to manage it. When you're singing, you make notes about how to manage the breath. It's like planning. It's like business. Any other thing else, you have to plan. That's why you see artists on their score, you see lots of marks. So they do breathing marks, where to take in breath, where to hold, because once your breathing is right, it affects everything, your vibrato, everything, your voice, your pitch, your range, it helps you a whole lot, I'm saying this from experience. I'm not saying this from book. I like to talk from experience because I feel like it's much easier to connect with people that way. So you have to, if you haven't, you have to learn how to do a lot of breathing exercises. That was the first thing I learned, I was doing it. I still do it anyway. I still do it. You have to develop a breathing exercise regimen, which you probably do every day. If you want, if you have the time, if you have the energy, you can actually do it that way. But then once you're singing, you have to plot and prepare. I will breathe here. I'm not going to breathe here, because if you do it right, then it helps you have a sustained sound. Your sound basically is really sustained at that point when you're able to, hold your breath and manage it properly. And there's this saying that the longer our inhalation, the more sounds we can produce. So if you're able to, hold on to sounds more and use them wisely, the more sounds you can produce, the higher you can even go. So you have to be able to achieve breathing, proper breathing, which is the most important. So there are different types of breathing, but I think the most acceptable one is the diaphragm breathing. So if you know how to if you know how to breathe deep and just keep it right in and be able to manage your breath, that definitely can help you. So I used to do an exercise which you can also do. I used to call it breathe, hold, exhale, hold. So you breathe in, you hold, exhale, you hold. You breathe in, you hold, exhale, you hold. But the most important part is not the breathing in part, it's actually the hold part. So that helps you, because the larger your lungs can expand, the more air can take in. And the more air can take in, the more sound you can definitely produce. You can actually stay on that sound for a long time. So That's physically very, very, very important. So I will just leave room for a question before I jump to the next one. I don't want to be too fast. If you have any questions on that, I try to make it simple and understandable. So if you have any questions, you can probably ask me before I go to the next thing.
Okay, yeah. We have Patience raising her hand. Patience, can you ask your question, please?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Egbuchiem. I hope I pronounced your name very well. It's a pleasure.
It's fine. It's just, I was just being funny at the beginning. Don't worry. That's fine.
Okay, so the question is, sometimes you want to sing, right? And then you start the song and the song is supposed to flow, but you get to a point where you are gasping out of, like, you're going out of air. And if you breathe, it's going to be obvious. If you don't breathe, it's going to be like you're going to just mess the whole thing up. So at that point, what are you supposed to do?
Okay, so that comes under what I'm saying, the breath management. So before you even open your mouth, if there's an intro to the song, you are preparing yourself and you breathe in just shortly before you start so that you can, like I said, you have to plan it. So you know what phrase, at what end of what phrase you can breathe. If you don't breathe, you will get choked. It used to happen to me, trust me, but like I say, you have to start learning how to prepare. Like with your music, or even if you are not singing, you're just singing with words, just know at what point on the phrase that you have to breathe.
Okay, what if it's a surprise performance? You're just called to just come and sing that particular song. Okay, they know you know it, and they just call you up to come and sing it, and you are not really prepared. Like you didn't take notes of, like, okay, what are you going to do in that kind of situation?
Breathe after a word before you breathe. If you breathe after a word, that's fine for me. But you're not going to you can't break that particular word into two just because you have to, So you have to be a bit smart. That's what singing is about. Being, you have to be smart about how you manage your breath. So for me, it's okay to breathe after a word. I have no problem with it. But I still commit the same offense, but have to be, the problem is about this is about being conscious. We have to learn how to be exactly conscious about what we do with singing. There's no guesswork. So you have to, the more conscious you are, the more intentional, that's the word I'm looking for. The more intentional you are with the way you want to sing, the better it will become. So it's okay to finish a word. Maybe if the word is come, you can come, even if there's no comma after it, but your breath, just prepare. No, okay, I can't hold on to this place. So just breathe in with the comma. And if you are surprised, if there's a surprise, I understand what you're saying, but just look for a word, the end of a word, breathe, then continue. If that's how bad it gets. But if you have the music beforehand, it's best that you prepare. It makes sense. Yes. I see another hands up.
Yeah. Maurice, please, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, I'm a countertenor, and you know that our problem is always breathing, and it has always been the problem. So can you tell me, can you explain more on how to manage the breath? I know, I feel like I have a good breathing technique, but then to hold it, to keep it while singing, to manage it while singing, I think that is the main problem that I am having. So can you throw some light on how to manage the breath that you've already taken in while singing?
Thank you. Well, I wouldn't agree with you that all countertenors have a problem with breathing. Yes, but I understand what you're saying. You actually, it makes sense. I get it. Like I said, again, you have to be intentional. It doesn't matter the voice part. Every voice part, you have to be intentional. My breathing has gotten, better over time. One, because of, you just don't only practice your vocal range. You also have to practice your breathing, especially if you're still starting out. You always have to make time for breathing. Sometimes I do the breathing exercise, taking a walk on the road. I remember then coming back from church in the morning, I always do it. Sometimes you see me quiet, you don't know what I'm doing, but I'm actually practicing my breath control with my feet, walking with my feet. So My feet become my counts. So like I'm saying, you have to be able to inhale it, hold it. There's no shortcut to it. I can't give you a shortcut answer. The only thing I can tell you is once you continually practice on it, your lungs keep expanding, and then you can take in more air. You have to keep practicing. You just have to keep doing breathing exercises the same way you do your vocal exercises. Same thing. Until you master it. Once you master it, you will see that you can take in more. You can take it. Then number two, if you have a piece of music, always plan. If you don't plan, you're going to run short of breath. I'm saying it again. Always plan. If you don't plan, you will run short of breath. So like I said to the earlier, the person who asked the question earlier, if you are running, maybe it's a surprise, you get surprised, which happens, things happen. Make sure you finish the word. Don't try to break the word. And for me, you will get a pass with that. Just finish the word, then you can breathe. Don't be ashamed to finish the word and breathe, then go on. Because the whole idea is, if you have enough air to finish the word, your sound sounds stronger than weaker. The idea for your singing is to finish strong, not weak. So wherever possible, you can take in air, please take in air. It's not a contest of who holds more air. It's about you, your body, knowing your body, how it works, so that you can use your voice properly. Because if you don't breathe properly, after a while, it will start affecting your singing. And that's not really good. So you have to learn from the start to breathe, how to breathe properly and manage the breath. Breath management is absolutely very important. I can't keep talking about it. It's very, very, very important. Yeah. Did I answer the question, or do you have another question?
You did. You answered the question.
Are you sure? Can I ask another question if you have?
No, I don't have another question, but I'm not actually. I was hoping, I was thinking that there is a technique
Shortcut,
to.
right? No, but I've told you the technique. There's no shortcut. I know people are always looking for shortcut. No, there's nothing like that. With singing, you have to do it properly, and the whole stuff should be about practicing your breathing exercises as much as possible every day, especially if you're starting out. Do it every day. So you breathe in, you hold it, you breathe out, you hold it. So the holds are the ones that you can increase the number. Maybe you can start with the breathing. I actually learned this exercise from the internet. I saw it on the internet. Then also my voice teacher then in Nigeria. You breathe in, you hold, maybe you breathe in for 4 counts, you hold it 4 counts, you breathe out 4 counts, you hold it 4 counts. Then you start increasing, you breathe in 4 counts, hold for 6 counts. So it's the hold that matters here, because that's what they're saying. The longer you can inhale, the longer you can hold it, the more you can do with your sounds. If you cannot hold it, then you can't do anything with your sound. Because if you are able to hold your breath, your voice can spin through your breath and into the next sound, and before you know it, the whole connection is absolutely so beautiful. So yeah, if you want a voice that spins, you need that, you need that breath.
On the breath control, I'm always having this issue. I sing alto part, but I'm always having this issue of cracked voice, especially when I tend to, after a teaching section, because I'm also a teacher, then if I am to sing, I get this difficulty. Some parts it just hooks and does not try to unlock. So how do I manage that aspect? But if my voice is kind of free, it tends to flow up to an aspect, but I usually have these intermittent breaks as a result of cracked voice. So how can I manage that properly?
So the first question I would ask you, based on what you just asked me, I'm saying this thing now like an experienced performer. Do you support your singing when you are? Do you support your voice when you're singing? Because that's one. I used to suffer, not like suffer. I don't have cracked voice, but I find it difficult singing some particular range if I'm not fully supported. So do you support yourself while you're doing it, or you just, so we're going to come to that support area, but based on the breath, if you are able to breathe properly and place it down in there, you can have. But if you are not supported, one of the things that which is also based on the breath, is that you start having cracked voice. You have to be supported. Your voice it's like a building, this is a building. It needs support. It needs, those pillars you see that hold the building. That's the support. So that's what your singing needs. Else the sound is going to be, cracked, or it's going to be like weak. And the more weak it gets, the more cracked it gets. So it's like you're without the support. So basically that's all I can say.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. That's good.
We're taking on the last question, Mr. Shegu. Mr. Shegu, can you unmute yourself?
All right. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I just want to ask concerning this vocal range. I observed that I always have a cracked voice, maybe especially when I overstress because I have a problem in expounding my vocal range. I have problem with that. So I observe when I'm singing, before I know I already have a cracked voice. So I want to ask that what can I do that will be as a solution to that will be of help. And also I want to ask that concerning this breathing, breathing exercise. I want to ask that in holding the breath, what is the perfect timing? What is the perfect timing? I want to know how many seconds or milliseconds. I just want to know what's the perfect timing in the breathing exercise.
Okay, so I think I will go from the second question, which is related to what we're talking about. The first question is, for a subsequent section of this discussion. There's no perfect time. So the perfect timing depends on you, and it depends on the song. You understand? It depends on what sound you want to create. So there's no, the whole ways about saying there's no right or wrong. It's an individual. You have to keep climbing your own rope until you can figure out your own, your own voice. So I can't give you an answer. Okay, there's a perfect timing for this. You constantly have to work on it. How much you can hold. Every time you set a goal, okay, it's more like setting a goal for yourself. If today you hold 4, don't be ashamed about it. It's not who gets there fastest. It's about doing it right. So today you can hold 4, maybe in 2 weeks you can hold 6. Just keep going at that pace until you can hold as much. It's about setting a new record. It's like, it's like those in athletics, they set new records all the time. It's about their own record. If your record shatters the whole world record, then that's fine. But this is about you now. It's not about anything in particular. So I hope. And the second question, I would answer as we go, because if I say it now, then it means I will skip the topic. So let's just keep going, and I will address the question you mentioned about your range and your voice cracking, which is another third part of this. So if that makes sense.
All right, sir.
Okay, cool. So let's go to the second part, which is good posture. I will try to run through the other 3 because we have to have something practical going on right now and hearing people sing, because in that way, everybody can learn, exactly what to do and what not to do. That's the beauty about having it practically done. That's for me, an ideal masterclass. So body posture. Sometimes some of us don't realize that our body posture also aids our singing. If you have a slouched body like this, it might just not work. Especially you sometimes you watch even operas when they're about to sing a high note, they take on a particular posture. It could be anything. It could be this, it could be, they just know, you have to know your body. But you cannot slouch, even at choir practice, even if it's choral, you can't do this while you're singing. So you have to sit upright, It's like an elevated, your rib cages have to stand straight. Everything's, even when you're standing up, same thing. There's also something for good posture and what they call Alexander technique. You can do your own research. I've been in 2 classes where they do it. It helps people to figure out what posture works better for them. Because posture, that's why I said about singing, it's an individual thing. It does not, yes, there are common basic things, but everything does not work for everybody. So you have to figure out what posture your head takes that produces the sound, that helps your top notes. If your body is not well postured, which leads into the third thing, then you cannot have a good sound. It's not possible. So that's why, first of all, you have to be standing up straight. You always hear that stand up straight, chest out. Those things are important. You know, so that's what I'm saying. Those things, that's what I'm saying, is support. Because if you stand properly, then your body is well supported. If you don't, even your breathing can't fit right. If you're not standing well and you breathe, you won't be able to take in as much air as you should. So the body posture also supports your breath. So you have to be able to stand or sit right when you are singing. So, don't ever slouch to sing. Don't do it. Except some people, you can slouch, but you have to also watch your legs. The posture of your legs is also matters to match your body. That carries the sound. So those things are the posture of your head. You can't be bending your head for a particular note. I know some people do it, especially basses in Nigeria, especially. They like to bend their head as though the note is down there. No, don't do it, please. You can always pick the notes without bending your head, to pick any particular note of any sort. I don't know if that makes sense. I will take questions on it later. Then I'll go to the third part. The third part is about knowing your voice. You have to know your voice. You have to be able to know your voice properly.
That my music.
Okay, so you have to be able to know your voice properly. Good knowledge of your voice is very important. You must know if you don't sing songs, certain repertoires on your voice, then the damage become, then you start having a damage. Sorry, I'm not sure who's. Okay, so then you have to understand your register. You have to understand the points in your voice where it changes. Your voice, moves from the lower register to the middle and to those things are called, passages. So you have to know where that soft spot where your voice changes. You have to know your voice type. You have to know the register. You have to know what works for your voice. So those things help you. All these three things together, they are not separate from each other. It's like Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. They all help you to master your voice correctly. So if you have a good knowledge of a voice, you know that I can't sing this song, or my voice is not ready to sing this song. I have to wait maybe a few more years. It's like the male voices. The male voices develop much later in life, like maybe when they're in their 40s. That's when you get to your the height of your voice. For the females, it comes much earlier. For those with heavier voices, like the dramatic sopranos, dramatic tenor, it takes an awfully long time, sometimes till they're 45, sometimes till they're 50. You just have to understand your voice and don't push it. Things like pushing your voice is where it comes with cracking. Like I said, once you know your register, you know your voice. So if you know your register, you don't have to push your voice. If you want to increase your voice range, it's a gradual process. Don't rush it. Sometimes even moving from a G to a G sharp can take you 6 months. It's okay. Don't rush it so that you don't, harm your voice. So like I said, a good knowledge of this is going to help, your voice, basically. I guess that's basically what I have to say for now, for talking. So if you have any questions on this, a few questions will be fine, then we can try out one or two things and, to make more sense with explanations, what I'm talking about.
My question is, in this case, whereby in some songs your voice is thick, why some songs, the voice, I'm a soprano singer, my voice is tiny, and sometimes I don't even understand how it's sounding. So how do I make it stable? What do I do? Like, is it bad? Like, how do I make my voice stable so that I can sound one in every song?
I'm not exactly sure what you mean by stable. Yeah, sometimes heavier voices can sound, a bit light. Some places, yes, you can have some warmth, which makes it look as though it's slightly heavy, or dark. I would prefer to use the word dark. It's fine. It's fine. maybe your voice has those colors. So you are still probably figuring out your voice. Some voices are like that, you know. You can switch between darkness and light, you know, like in between. So there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't mean that it's not stable. But if you want to have a uniform sound, if that's what you mean, you have to use exercises. And the exercise is carrying your upper range down to your lower range. Because usually if you try to carry your lower range up to your upper range, then there's a problem, because there's usually kind of like heaviness. If you carry that heaviness up, you probably won't be able to sing those notes. But you have to bring, that's usually like the techniques I've seen people use the upper range, the sound of upper range, and bring it down, walk it down with, you know, vocal exercises. It's like not going to the doctor's office where they just give you a pill, like you walk away. With the voice is, you know, careful, methodical approach, which you have to use to achieve the sounds that you need to achieve. And don't bother yourself, like I said earlier, everybody has a unique sound. Don't bother about what somebody else is sounding. You don't have to sound like them. Once you all sing together to blend in. So you have to find your own voice. Everybody's voice is unique. That's what will make you stand out, your unique voice. So I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm not sure how helpful that is.
Hello, Chibugo. Are you clear?
Yes, thank you very much. I got it. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Maurice, can you unmute yourself?
Hello, me again.
I know.
I feel like this class is for me.
Yes, sir.
Happy to hear that.
For you.
So you mentioned something about repertoires, and I'm having problem. I'm having problem with picking the particular repertoire that is actually good for me, because sometimes the songs that are meant for countertenors, I find them to be low for me to sing. Like I feel like I'm singing alto, and it's unpleasant. Like sometimes I can't go that low. But then I always yearn for Mozart, like Alleluia Exultate and Handel, like Rejoice, O Daughter of Zion. So I don't know if people, the coaches that I've met, they always tell me that I should go for my repertoires, that the ones that are meant for me. But when I go for them, they are always low, and I don't know. Can you help me with that? You mentioned something about knowing your repertoire. How will I know the type of songs to sing?
Morris, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So now there are 3 different kinds of countertenors, just like there are sopranos. There's the soprano, there's the mezzo, there is the alto. You mustn't sing what is meant for a mezzo or alto. They are the ones meant for sopranos. That's why I said you have to find. It's about researching that you find these things out. They are Handel, Handel songs that are meant for, male sopranos. You just have to find them out. If you are singing opera, you have Ariandante, you have Circe, you have there are a few of them, even Sesto in Giulio Cesare, it's all soprano. It's not something that I can't sing Ariandante. I might sing some songs, but not all, because I don't really have certain freedom, or like a soprano, countertenor soprano will have. So it's about finding your the exact songs that can fit you. There are some, like, you can sing things like Let the Bride Self, and it's okay. It's not gender specific. You look for songs or soprano songs that are not gender specific and sing them. That's fine. But be careful not to go there's like a very gray line. Get careful not to go past the gray lines. Because for now they might not ask you to sing it. So just be careful not to go past the gray line. You can sing, of course, you can sing Mozart Exultate Jubilate. So that's fine. That can work for you. But you have to know there are also Handel Mozart operas you can also sing. I think there's Gluck also, Orfeo. So there are things for you to sing. It's not entirely out of line. So So we can have the tenor first, then we would go from there. Is it?
Hello, sir.
Is that all?
I think it's
Is that all?
yes, sir. That's
Okay, cool. Your voice doesn't sound bad at all, really. Although it's not too clear, but I will try and pick on what the things I think I could hear. I would want you to start the song. I just want you to sing the first phrase and let's try out something.
yes,
Bring down the accompaniment slightly. I want to hear your voice on top of the accompaniment. I don't want to hear the accompaniment above you.
yes, sir.
So start it again. And before you sing the first thing, breathe and sing with that breath through that first phrase. And let's hear something different. Let's see if something is going to change.
All right, sir.
So that breath, the first breath you take in, use it for the first phrase, the whole of the first phrase. Do not do anything else.
All right, sir.
Just the first phrase. Then you can pause it at that point and we can hear if there's something different. Can you try it again?
All right, sir.
Taking the breath. I try not to want to sing. So just taking the breath and just drive it through the sound. Just focus on your breath. Don't focus on anything else. Don't focus on, leave your voice alone. Just taking the breath, go sing that first phrase. Just don't bother about your voice now at this point. Just do what I'm telling you. Just take in the breath and just sing that first phrase.
All right,
so that's what I'm. Okay, so pause it at this point. How do you feel at this point? I want you to tell everybody how you feel with trying what I just said now. How does it feel for you?
I feel more relaxed. I feel relaxed. I was actually tense before you said that, so I feel relaxed. You're saying I should focus on the sound. I feel more relaxed.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So once you have your breath right on track, it will carry your voice. Your voice is beautiful, by the way. It's just you
Thank
need
you so much.
you need to fit it in right with the sound. Just breathe through and just take it in. Assuming that that's what I'm saying. I wish I had seen you, then we can tell the other things like body posture and the other things, but I'm just listening based on what I'm listening to. And the sound is not too clear, but I can still hear you. That's fine, it can still work. So now I want you to go on with the same song. Just go sing through the first part of the music. If I think I remember. Hold on, let me see. I think I have a score somewhere.
All right,
Just close it. And let me see where I can ask you to sing to. That would be this one. Del mio dolce ardor, Brahma. So it's like you're singing it 2 times, Brahma 2 times, and then you have Al fin respiro, the first one, not the second one. So just let's go from that. Just put the accompaniment a little down and have a very good posture. Don't be tense. It's not a big deal. It's something you have to keep, learning. But then throughout the singing, leave your voice alone. Just focus on breathing. You breathe from O del mio dolce ador. You breathe before you go into Brahma. Don't go with the same breath into Brahma. So breathe again before you sing Brahma. So let's try it and see.
All right, sure.
Okay, so let's pause for this. Now, I could hear some things even better now. So for your top notes, you don't have to scream it out. For tenors, at least when I was singing tenor, the one thing you have to do is the more they call it covered note, the more you protect the notes, the better it is. Let me see if I can remember my tenor voice. Whatever. So it has to be covered, because if you shout it out, then you're going to keep cracking. At some point, you will definitely crack. You don't have to shout. Brahma. So the support also comes from your abdomen. That is very important. So let's try that for the last time. That will be a short lesson for you to keep working on it. So try it now with your top note. Support with your stomach at this point. For that, that's a very simple way of saying it, but just support it with your stomach at this point. From your stomach, from your abdomen region, give it some support for the top notes. Don't shout it. And let's see what the difference is now. Doing 2 things, singing with the breath. You did that properly, breathing well, but make sure it's always deep and right in. Then when you get to your top notes, please give it support.
All right.
You should actually even give it the same support all through the singing. So go to your abdomen region and sing from the beginning, while at the same time focusing on your breath. Leave your voice out of this now. It will all figure itself out. So let's try it again. For the last time, this is the last time. Just this first section. We don't have to go to the second section.
All right, sir.
Hmm? Breathe.
Sorry?
No, if I say breathe, I'm not asking you to stop. Don't stop. Just listen. And I'm telling you, showing you exactly what to do and where. Don't stop. Don't stop at all. Just keep going. Start it again. As it's going, prepare your breath and breathe before you open your mouth. Very important. Okay, thank you. So before I move to the next person, how do you feel? That's the question.
I feel different. Over time, with the way I've been singing and the whole technique, trying to okay, I didn't have so much proper training in the singing as I should. So I've had issues with trying to cover the notes properly. I do that. I do that well. I do that well most of the times. But there are times when I anticipate the notes. But with what you've said, I've been able to feel relaxed, knowing
So
that everything is from my support.
Yeah, just remember two things when you're going up. Just always relax when you're going up. We all, even me, I still do it, but I'm learning. I've gotten better at it. Always learn to relax. Place the note down there. Don't place the note up. If you place the note up, it will feel as though it's high and the whole world is coming down on you. It happens to all of us, but just put the note down as though you're taking it down to your abdomen. It allows your body lighter to produce the note. Then always, if maybe you can try practicing like that, sing. If you do exercises on it, it will help you to place your tongue properly, especially for your top notes. It sounded better. This last one sounded better than the first one. It doesn't look as though you're sounding. You sound more relaxed. You can get better.
Yes, sir.
You can get better.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. It means a lot.
Thank you, Mr. James. We have Daniela Marcos. She's a soprano singer and she will sing Angels Ever Bright and Fair.
I love that song. So, yeah.
Lead me forth, lead me home to the rock, home to the flames. Our thy gracious mercy. Angels ever bright and fair. Angels ever bright and fair. They will take me. They will take me to your Take me Take, oh, take me. Pictures have all bright and fair. Take, oh, take me to your care. Take, oh, take me to your care. Speed to your God's might, not heroes so marching white, not heroes so marching white, not heroes so marching white. Take me. Angels ever bright and fair. Take, oh, take me. Take, oh, take me to your care. Take me. Take, oh, take me. Angels ever bright and fair. Take, oh, take me to your care. Take, oh, take me to your care. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So your voice is amazing, but it can come out more. So I could, while you're singing, I would just like to ask a question before we go in. What do you think was your problem?
Okay.
No, be honest with me. No judgment. Just be honest. Just what do you think is your problem?
Yeah, I'm having this right in me.
Okay. Do you think that's the only problem?
I have dry throat.
Do you think that's the only problem? The fright?
The dry throat.
The dry throats. What else?
Sometimes I do have issues with my breath.
Okay, now the last one you mentioned, I think is the problem with your breath. I think it's the problem with the singing. If we can try the beginning, which was, there was a place where you held on to a long note. That's why I said breath management. You have to prepare. The song can actually sound better in your voice, better than what you're singing right now. It sounds good, but it can sound better than this. So let's leave out the recitativo and focus now on the aria. I want you to just do the beginning. Let me show you something.
Okay, is it like from the...
I don't know if I have the picture, but we will try together to go through it. Let's try and see. Just the beginning, the aria, straight to the aria. Leave the recitativo alone.
Okay.
I don't want you to sing the whole thing. I just want a portion, just the first portion of it, onto the place where you held onto the long note that was long. So I will show you something. Sing it again, but to the place where you held onto the long note, I want to show you something. Okay, pause it. So you have the music plays, then you do. It's much freer than you forcing it. You're trying to force it. So just first.
Okay.
So breathe again before the next angels. If you don't breathe, it's going to sound like you're forcing it because your breath is not too strong. So try it again. You breathe. Angels. So it's much easier. If you feel more relaxed, you're not under pressure, like somebody's chasing you with a cane. Sing, you must sing this thing properly. So let's try it again. Just these 2 lines. I want you to hear how your voice will sound when you are able to take in enough breath. So let's try it again.
Okay, sir.
Let's repeat it again. Let's repeat it again. I want you to do a deep breath. Then it's much, you see what I'm doing? There are 2 different things. You don't have to struggle. It just gushes out. It's just your voice you're going to hear. So just breathe in between the 2 angels. 1 angel, then angel. You understand? So try it. Just that's what I wanted to do so that you see the difference.
Okay. All right.
Breathe. Okay, so now I want you to combine it. Now go on with the song. So the long part, so the part where it's long, because that's where the main lesson is. Any other thing else after that, then we'll end singing your singing. Yeah.
All right, sir.
Okay, thank you. Can you pause it there? Let me show you one thing. So take me to. You notice what did I do? I had to employ a crescendo on that long note. What do you do? So I had to breathe in between, help me prepare for the long notes. So that's what I'm talking about with the breath management. So try it out now. Let's see. Take O, take me, then to your care. Take O, take me to your care. But take O is a different word then. Take me to your care. Then you go crescendo. Don't go loud. You understand what I'm saying? It will help you. That's another approach that can help you. So let's try it. You can start it soft. Don't go loud. Start it soft, then increase loud till you understand. Don't get loud too quickly. Leave the loud to the end. Okay, so let's stop it there. Thank you. So, how do you feel? How do you feel? Just, it's not perfect, but how do you feel? I want to know how you feel about.
I'm sweating right now.
Yeah, what?
I'm sweating.
Okay.
Seriously.
So, but how do you feel vocally? How does it feel vocally for you? How does it feel? What do you feel?
I was having this cracks before. I can see myself flowing well.
Exactly. I could hear the flow. And it can get better than this too.
Yes.
Your voice is beautiful. Your voice is absolutely gorgeous. It can get better than this.
Thank you.
It's just, like I said, the song sounds beautiful in your voice. All you need to do is work out breath marks. Also, you have to practice more. I think you particularly have to practice more breathing exercises. You should look for, check online. There are breathing exercises, simple ones that you can do. Try to do it every day before you start running your vocal warm-ups. Do it for like 10 minutes, then you can do your stuff, that will be, because the more you can have more breath, the more your voice is going to flow. Then also when you're singing the song, mark out, don't be shy. Mark places where you have to breathe. Be intentional about it. You might not get it all the time. It might not be 100%, but the more you do it, the more it gets better. You understand what I'm saying? So that's it. So congratulations to you. It sounds really beautiful. Yeah, you sound good. Two of you, you sound really good. It's just, it's the breath thing. That is the basic thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can have questions. If you guys still have time for me to stay, that's fine. We can have what we see with the two of them. We realize that the breath, is very, it's very, it's a very key component of our voice, having this good mastery of our vocal control. So if we can breathe right, our posture wasn't bad, it could be better, but it wasn't bad. But also understand your voice, prepare, know where your voice changes, know the color of your voice. All of it can help, but the breathing is the most important thing. Once you have the breathe, that's the main foundation. Once you have it right on track, every other thing, you can add things on top of it. But, without that, it's not, it's going to be difficult, actually. It might sound like you're sounding good one day and not good another day. So it's the consistency, it's the breath that helps with that consistency. It helps with the consistent sound. So that's basically what, this mastering your vocal control is all about. It's your breath, your posture, and good knowledge of your voice. When I mean good knowledge of your voice, it means what you're singing. Don't sing if you're not a coloratura soprano, you shouldn't be singing what they are singing. You might not be able to go through. If you're not a lyric, please don't, so it's vice versa. You have to understand your voice, what song fits your voice. And most of the times it needs a pro to help you, figure out this song is good for you, this song fits your color or something, except maybe you have a special gift with that. That's it, basically.
Okay.
So at this point, I would, so.
Okay. I think we have a question here from Deborah. Her question is, someone that can sing very high pitch before, but is finding it difficult now to sing that high range. What can the person do so that she can go back to high pitch? She can still sing her high pitch. I think she's a soprano singer. Do you understand the question, sir?
Oh, absolutely. That's a good question. But the answer, there's no shortcut. You would need somebody who is a pro to guide you through that process. That's the only way. There's no fix-it kind of manual. Where that's the interesting thing about singing. There's no fix-it manual somewhere. You always need a pro to help you through, to guide you to that place.
Okay.
So my question is on this voice knowledge that you said that we should know our voice and know our voice. Actually, I was discussing with my deputy choir master, which which I think it was also is yeah, me too. So I was discussing with him. So he was like, I was asking that because I kind of sing bass, but he was telling me that I can do more tenor than bass. But the problem I'm having is that I need to learn how to sing on a particular, I think, key or note, something like that. I need to learn how to sing on a particular note. So I want to ask her, is there any way that we can learn on how to sing on a particular note? And my second question is, you said that the voice exercise is being done from the top to the bottom, not from the down up. So I want to ask, is there any exercise that you can recommend for us to do regularly? That's my question, sir.
Okay, so let me correct the notion with the second question.
Okay,
we were talking about, I think somebody asked a question about having the same quality of voice, like one seamless voice. So that's why I'm saying sing, the scale downwards to bring the quality from the top note. But it's not that you cannot run scales from the lower note to the top note. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you want to fix it, like having the same quality of voice from your lower register to your to your higher register, the best way to do that, from what I have seen, is to sing their scales. It can be any scale. Sing the scale from the top notes down. But these things require professional. It's not something that, like I said, you probably might find videos. If you search, you might find, I don't know of any video, but if you search this day, the internet has done a lot of it. You can find videos that are doing it. You can use certain videos and follow the exercises. That would be helpful too, but nothing readily comes to mind in particular. You can sing with any scale, actually. Sing from your top note, but that is for somebody with a problem where the voice is not sounding the same in the lower range and in the top range. That's what I'm saying. So that was a different thing. Then the first question you asked, is there a note? Okay. So there's a lot of misconception, especially in Nigeria, about this voice thing. The voice type for males begins with countertenor, not even with tenors. So let's go with that. There's a countertenor, and I was telling Maurice that there are 3 types. There's a tenor, and there are also 3 types, if not 4, if not 5. There's baritone, and there are different types of baritones. There's the bass baritone, and there are different types. There's a bass, and there are different types. But people need to understand what exactly constitutes you realizing that a particular person sings a particular sound. So the question is, I'm not sure what he was trying to say when he said that to you, but what note was he talking about that you needed to sing sound like a tenor? That's the problem.
Sorry, sir. I
haven't heard your voice,
sorry,
so I
sir.
don't know to tell what exactly you're asking.
I think what he was trying to, the message he was trying to pass is that I think I don't sing on a particular note, that I jump from one key to another, something like that. That's what we're trying to pass.
Oh, that's a different thing. It doesn't mean that that cannot stop you from singing tenor. That's not what it means. That's a different problem entirely that needs to be sorted in a different way.
Okay.
So the problem with that's about hearing. So you need to try to do hearing exercises. Look for online things that help you with hearing exercises. So that can be sorted out with your hearing. It's your hearing and perception of sound that has a problem with that, but it has nothing to do with your actual voice. So
okay, sir. Thank you very much. Sir.
If it feels like that's the problem, then all he can do is to help you with your hearing of the sound and perception. And that's what they usually, training is called ear training. That's what they call it. So you train your ears to hear, to perceive sounds. Because if you don't hear the sound, then you can't sing it properly. You have to hear the sound in your head. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay, the next person, Samuel, can you unmute yourself, please? Samuel Boma. Can you unmute yourself? Yeah, good evening.
Okay, I just have just a question. But first, I want to appreciate those people that sang. They both have good voices. and I've also learned from them. My question is this: sometimes my voice, while I see myself singing a note, when I'm like relaxed, like just like singing, let me just use G, for example, like it's a G. But why going on and on and on, why singing other songs, then coming back to hit that G, I find it difficult. Maybe it gets cracked. I can't teach that same G that I just hit maybe a few minutes ago. It always happens to me all the time. So I don't know what causes this. I don't know if you can.
Were you here when we talked about support?
Yes.
Okay, so that might be the problem. Your singing has to be supported from the beginning to the end. You can't relax in between. That's why sometimes you see opera singers, their concentration level is very high because you have to stay on that position of the support and sing through. If you don't support it, your voice will crack because it's like a house, if it doesn't have foundation, that supports your foundation. What will happen to the house? It will fall. So that's the very best analogy I can use for this. So that singing has to have that support, to hold it where exactly it is so that it can sound really good. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and the support comes from your abdomen. It's abdominal support. So that's where the support comes from. I know people keep saying that it sounds like something out of a movie, but it's real life. Once you give it support from your abdomen, then it's absolutely fine. That's where the support comes from. You chest out, but the support, your abdomen is that region is that's where your support comes from.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I want to digress a little. Sometimes when we want to sing, they will be like, before singing, don't take cold water, don't eat this, don't eat that. So I want to know the effect of food on the voice color and texture. Then also the other person answered the question on moving from one note. I always find myself, if I want to sing like maybe a score now, I find it difficult keeping to a particular note, and especially when we have to drop from a particular pitch or so down low. Maybe as we are singing alto, we sing something similar to the soprano, and we have to go back to our tone. So I find it difficult to descend in that era. So I want to know if there is something I can do, like you talked about the support. Will I take a particular position to be able to descend that low, or maybe even to ascend from a lower notes upwards?
Okay, let me go with the second question. When you have a problem with pitching, finding your pitch, it has nothing to do with support. It's about what you hear. When I was taking lessons back then in Nigeria, the guy would always tell me, you need to hear the notes. So I can actually see the notes like flying, like individual, like individual persons flying, so I can plot them. So you have to be able to see it in your head, because once you can hear the sound in your head, you have to hear it in your head before you open your mouth. Like I said, it requires a whole lot of concentration. So I'm not sure if you're able to hear the sounds before you sing them. That would be the question to you now. Do you hear the sounds in your head before you sing them?
Yes. Well, okay, that's true. Sometimes I tend to confuse it, whether it's still the same sound as singing.
So that's where you have to also, there are two things. That's what I told the guy before you. Ear training. You have to do exercises that train your ear. That's why you see those who study music, they do a lot. It's a whole lot of work. It's a whole lot of work. I know people think, oh, it's just about singing. No, it's a whole lot of work. So you have to train your ears with the sounds. You can get help. People who are really good musicians can help you. I'm sure even the host can help. So just your ears need to be trained. That's usually why you switch from sound. If you don't hear you can't use your ear properly, like perceive sounds. That's where the problem is. That's where people glide from. Not like a big issue. People have overcome it. You can actually do it, but you have to be trained to hear sound. Then the first question, I don't think I can remember the question. If you can ask it again. That's the second question I just answered.
so much we eat, does it actually have?
Okay, yeah, food having effect on the voice. Okay, so here's my answer. Like I always say to people, the voice is an individual thing. All of us are not the same.
I'd say about
all of us are not the same. I know somebody who doesn't drink anything colored water. It affects her voice. I know some people who can drink beer before they go on stage. They don't have a problem. I cannot come close to alcohol before I sing. So everybody's different. Some people can drink alcohol and step on the stage and they won't have a problem. So we are all different. So you just have to know your trigger moments. I can eat food and go on stage. I don't have a problem. The only thing I can't do is alcohol because it dries my throat. That's the basic thing. So I generally stay away from it completely. You know, so because if I drink it, it takes me like 3 days to recover that dryness and maybe anything hoarse, you know, in my voice. So I usually stay away from it completely, as much as I can. So everybody's different. So I can't tell you blanket, this is how it happens. No, we're all different. So you have to find out what is the thing that distorts your voice. Some people can't shout because at the moment they shout, some people can't talk too much because if they talk too much, their voice is gone. So it depends. We're all different. So you have to find out what triggers you. You know, what is it that triggers your voice to either go rough or go bad or something, or crack or something. So another thing that could cause a cracking voice is that, you know, you're not, like I said earlier, you're not supporting your voice, you know, or you're not singing right, you're not having a good posture. And the longer you do that, the more your voice starts getting bad, it starts deteriorating till it gets to a point where it's like really.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, please, we only take these 4 persons and then we proceed because of time. Victoria, please, can you unmute yourself?
I've always wanted to ask questions. So thank you for this class. I'm really enjoying this class a lot and I'm learning stuff.
You're welcome.
Yesterday, they taught us like voice range, and today again, it's how to control our voice, how to support our voice. I've always had this question. It's actually connecting to both. Well, I had music lessons some years ago, and they were like, okay, there's a difference between your head voice and like a normal pitch singing voice. And I'm still confused to this day, like head voice and pitch singing voice. Okay, I tried it. I am a soprano singer. I can go really high with my head voice, really, really high with my head voice. But when I try to go like high with my normal, I'm singing R&B music or probably any other kind of music. I try to like go high, pitch the voice. I would go high, but like I would crack in between and then continue. Like, what is the solution to that particular problem?
I mean, it's not like a direct answer. Okay, so the technique for singing classical music is definitely different from the technique for singing R&B and stuff. Some people could switch, and some people could use a combination of both. It depends on you. So if you are cracking, generally, like I will always tell people, it's because you are not supported. Let's just take it. Clear and simple. If you crack, it's because you're not supported. If your voice hangs, it's because you're not supported. So you have to support that singing. It doesn't matter what you're doing, if it's R&B, classical music. Just once you support your singing, you will definitely have that clear voice. Like I said, it's like a building. Your voice is like a building. It needs something to hold it, right? Under to support, so it stands. That's the support. So once you remove that support, then it falls apart. You understand? That's you get that crack because you're not. Top notes require a whole lot of support. Actually, the voice requires support, but the top notes require even more support to be able to hold on right up there. So for you to be going higher and higher and higher, you have to have more support. or those notes. If you don't have the soprano, it's a crack.
Okay.
Because it's not, you're not having a good backup. You're not having a good backing to push it there. You understand what I'm saying? That's that's the easiest way for me to say it.
Okay, but how do I support myself? Because I've been trying different things.
It's like I said, it's from your stomach. So for females, this is something. Imagine you, like sitting on your waist. Have you ever tried sitting on your waist?
Yes.
That just, yeah. So that feeling you have sitting on your waist is the feeling you should have when you want to sing.
Still your waist.
Yes. So that's I'm just trying to say the very common, like very street-like way to say it so that you understand it properly. So, so if you try, just do as though you are sitting on your waist. It's like your back, you feel it right at your back, right? You have to feel it at your back. And they call it your blade. So you definitely have to feel it right there. So you will feel the sounds even at your back. So that position is what you should maintain to just, and you go really as high as you can, also with whatever, voice that you have. So I don't want people thinking that it doesn't.
Okay, then again, we have the challenge of the limit our voice can get to. How do we know the limit our voice can get to? Because most times when I'm singing, I don't believe that's the limit of my voice, because I feel I can actually pitch more. I just need training to be able to pitch more. So like, how do I know, like, okay, this is the limit my voice can take? And is there any other law, like?
You have to find a voice teacher. I know we are all looking for shortcuts. There's no shortcut. You have to find a voice teacher. I know that's what all these questions I hear it. We're always looking for shortcut, but there's no shortcut. No, you need a voice teacher to help you. Only the voice teacher can listen and carry you through as you keep going there.
Okay.
After a while, you will get used to some of these things, but you need a voice teacher first, to help you. I can't. It's not. It will be very
one last one, please.
Genius of me to start telling you this or this. There's no magic about it.
Yeah. Please, one last one. Is there any written law that says we can't use head voice to sing like usual music, R&B, worship, or that kind of music? Not.
You can do anything you want. It's music. You can sing however you want. However you want to sing, that's up to you.
Because I love mixing both. Like I feel so comfortable.
But you can mix it, but just be careful. Just be careful. Usually I would tell is people who are probably used to their technique that can do things like that. So you have to be used to your technique very well for you to be able to do something like that. I wouldn't really advise it unless you're used to your technique, so that the process really works.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. You're welcome, Victoria. Jen, please, can you unmute yourself? We just have 2 more people to go.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm so grateful that I'm part of this class. Concerning this taking of breath and the rest, I was thinking that you would just give us a demonstration. You know why I'm asking this? I'm having a problem taking in my breath, because a lot of times when I take in my breath, it's as if I feel a tightness in my chest, and I'm feeling that I'm not holding the breath well, or I'm not taking the right posture. So I will really appreciate it if you can just demonstrate it for us. Thank you, sir.
Okay, that's why I used those singers, because it was going to be easier for you to see it.
It would have been better to see you, sir.
That's why I actually use the singers. That's why I asked for that, because I know that was important for people to be able to see, that breathing. My question to you will be, I have a few questions for you. When you're taking the breath, where did you put it? Where do you put it?
It's like I'm putting it at that chest, between the chest.
Don't put it at your chest. Don't put it at your chest. When you take in the air, take it down straight to to your lungs.
So that's why I would have loved you to demonstrate, sir.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You have seen it with the singers. You just slowly, you breathe in, you take it through, you can take it through your nose and your mouth at different points. It depends.
Okay.
While you are singing, the process of singing, you can snatch in breath with your mouth. But once you're doing it deep with your nose,
okay, sir.
Some people like to open their mouth. Some people like to open their mouth with it so that sometimes you hear some visible breathing, something, So.
Thank you, sir.
Maureen, please unmute yourself. Please, we don't have time. This class is supposed to be 1 hour class, but it's almost 2 hours.
Sorry. Hello.
Yeah.
Me again.
Today is for you. Don't worry. Just
sir, please, when you started, you said something about finding your voice.
Yes.
Yes. Can you throw more light on that, on how to find your voice and what the signs you will see, then you will know that you've gotten your voice. Like you'll be assured that yes, I've gotten my voice. And the second question is, you talked about the type of breathing. You only mentioned one, diaphragm breathing.
Yeah.
Because that's what you need.
That's what you need. You don't need any other one else. That's the main one. That's the main thing. You don't need anything else apart from that. There are different types, but that's the one you as a singer will need. You don't need to do anything. Okay, so then the finding your voice part. I know you guys are looking for shortcuts. Everybody's looking for it. There's no shortcuts. You need a teacher. Only a teacher can, or somebody who is experienced can hear and tell you, one or two things. But it's not. I know you guys are thinking there's a wand, somebody just strikes a wand. No, I can't. If I do that, then I'm lying to you. You need a teacher to help you discover that. That's what you need. First of all, you have a voice. Good. We all know that. But then you need to know what type so that it affects the kind of music that you sing, so that you're singing the right music. You're singing also with the right technique, not using technique meant for another voice. You understand? Because all this, any slight thing can damage your voice. Your voice is very delicate. So for me, I don't have a shortcut. You need somebody who is good at it to hear you and probably guide you through, give you tips, help you with repertoire choices, tell you exactly where your passaggio is. You know exactly where that place where it changes. You are able to figure it out. You can tell, because if you know where your passaggio is and also your tessitura, those things you would know exactly the kind of songs that fit you. That's why when you say you're a soprano, so that's what I'm saying. So you know exactly what kind of songs the soprano countertenor you can sing.
Sorry, please. What do you mean by passaggio? Those terms.
So a passaggio there are three types of voice. There's the chest registers. There's a chest register, there's the middle register, and there is the head register. So the passaggio goes from the middle to the head. That is a connection. It's a very, it's a very tight, it's like a bridge, So that sound that connects the two of them, where you don't see the difference, that's the passaggio. It's a very soft spot. So this passaggio for a soprano is different from that for a mezzo. Even the passaggio for a coloratura soprano is different from a lyric, is different from a dramatic soprano, is different from a mezzo soprano. So the passaggio for the coloratura is usually much higher. That's why you see them, they sing much higher. So the change comes in at a later point for them than the other sopranos. It's, it's a very kind of complicated. Then your tessitura is usually the points in your voice where it's most comfortable, where you feel the most comfort. That's your tessitura. So if you know all those things, then finding a song that suits you becomes much easier. So this is something that you can do on your own. Just know in your part of your voice, those places where it's most comfortable for you. You can use a keyboard and find out the key. Those things you can find out on you. You don't need a pro for that. But for the actual helping you, guiding you singing right, you need somebody to teach you.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We are taking the last person. Please, if you have further questions, send it to your Telegram group. It will be attended to. Ejigini, please, can you unmute yourself? Ejigini.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Andrew. I am so happy to finally connect with you. Wow, I am one of like your biggest fans. I have listened to your songs, yeah, like 1,000 times. Okay, yeah, another countertenor in the house.
I know.
Countertenor. Okay, so yesterday I asked the question and I was able to connect with Grace and she made a few notes. She said I should. My sound was I was actually sounding very nasal while I sang and other. So I applied what the notes she gave last night, and then I noticed that my voice kind of changed. I started sounding darker. And you know, here in Nigeria, for a countertenor, you're mostly judged. Your classification of countertenor is mostly judged based on the timbre, the tone or quality of your voice, and not necessarily your range. So you might have a wide range, and because your voice is dark, they'll be like, oh, you will sing the alto and the low notes kind of song. Then if even though you cannot sing beyond an A, but you still have a sweet, soft voice, they'll stay okay. Then you stay in the soprano line. So unconsciously, I think that's what I have done, but unconsciously I have modified my voice to try to keep staying in the soprano line. And now that I've noticed that my voice is actually supposed to be dark, how do I like sing the same songs I was supposed to keep singing with the dark voice? And I don't understand, like merge the whole stereotype and all of it. Oh God, what did I just say?
Okay, so the stereotype is not only in Nigeria, it's also here in the US. I mean, countertenors, people think that the countertenors are the ones are the ones that have light sound. So the people think that the ideal sound is the light sound. But I always tell people, for countertenor, it's complicated. It's not like the other voice type. It's complicated. So anybody thinking that they understand it's not the same like the other voice type. It comes in varieties, like everybody with their own unique sound, like everybody with unique sound. So you don't have to modify anything. Just sing what is comfortable for you to sing. There's nothing to modify. Don't modify to sing anything. Just sing it how your voice, whatever it fits into it. Range-wise, just focus more on that. You can also look at, like I said, the passaggio thing and the textura. That's also important when you have to pick, whatever song that you basically want to sing. So don't bother too much about, don't bother about stereotype. That's not your problem right now. Your business now is to sing with the voice that you have. Focus on that. Let everything else be.
Okay, just to suggest or to ask, I don't know, I know the IIF competition that you, the Nigerian Philharmonic Society organized. I'm sure you also a big brain behind it. I don't know if maybe you guys can organize a workshop before the actual competition, so that we can actually get a small hands-on training, so that more people can then like enter in for the actual competition, because many of us feel like we are not ready enough to compete. So that's why we
don't have to be ready to compete. We don't want you to be ready to compete. The judges are made up of singers like myself, some even better, who have experience from performing. And that's what they do. That's what we've been doing over the years. It's not, the idea behind it is not about you winning. It's about you learning. You understand? You can come in 4 times. It's not a problem. You don't have to apply for nothing. Just come in and, don't worry about that. Just come in and learn. The idea should be about learning, not about winning. So you get tips from them, tips that you probably might not get from one person. You get from multiple people's take, because they have been on the stage. They know what it takes, So I'm talking about singers from all over the world, US, Europe, South America, a lot of, Nigerians who are probably in the US, some who are in the UK, things like that. So they have experience doing this thing. So,
okay, thank you very much.
Don't be scared about nothing. Just usually that's how I started. It's about taking a leap. You may be scared. It's okay to be scared. That's fine. Just take a leap and learn. Just focus more on the learning than on it. If you do it right, if you do it wrong, you learn. I think it's my greatest honor has been losing many times. That helped me to learn better. Because sometimes I realize that when people win, they don't realize that they're doing some things wrong and they keep doing the things wrong. But once you lose, you understand, then you can go on to, but you have brought up a good idea. Maybe the masterclass thing may be a good idea, but I don't know about it for now. But we feel like the competition is structured in such a way where you get comments right there from the judges. It's not something to be scared about. You just do it. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. And honestly, we have many questions, but the truth is,
I know.
we need to round up. Yeah,
Sure.
we need to round up. Yeah, because tomorrow we still have lectures, so we need to call it tonight. So, Ms. Sandra, do you still have anything for us, or should we?
No, I think I've said it. Just the first thing people should realize is that their breath is very, very important. I cannot, stop saying it. Anything you want to do, the first thing about singing, fix the breath. Make sure that you have good breath control. If you have good breath, you can do absolutely anything you want to do. Either you want to sing your coloraturas or you want to hold on long, so whichever you can, then your voice, you have the smoothness to it. So.
Okay, thank you, sir. Honestly, sir, thanks to you. You're indeed a music legend.
I don't know about that.
Your teaching
I
will go
don't
a
know
very
about
long
that.
way. You will not understand, but your teaching will go a very long way. Please, our take home today is there is no shortcut to music. You have to be patient with yourself. You must be ready to learn, whether you like it or not. If you are not ready to learn, if you are not ready to give in your all, then you are not ready to sing as well. So, on this note, I need to call on the director of Grosidian Institute to thank Mr. Andrew. Ma, do you have any speakers?
Hello, Mr. Andrew. Yeah, hello, Mr. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. We were supposed to have a class for 1 hour, but my family people did not allow you.
It's fine. It's okay. It's okay.
If care is not taken, we'll be here for 3 hours. And it's amazing how you just patiently answered each and every one of us. Like, we are very grateful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing your vast knowledge with us. And I'm sure we all learned so much from you today. Even I too learned a lot. Thank you. God bless you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you for coming to this program to help to impact other singers. We are very grateful to have you.
You're welcome.